In this video, I'm going to give you 2 non-verbal communication skills that makes women desire you. And the great thing about it is that it works on all women. It doesn't matter from where they are, what culture they're brought up in. It's a universal desire that works on all feminine beings. Hey, I am Steffo Shambo, the founder of the Tantric Men Experience, the Rolls-Royce of love and relationship programs for men, where I help men unleash their masculine power, passion, and purpose so they can save a failing relationship or attract a meaningful relationship. So let's dive in with the first thing that I want to address here, and that is to be in tune with her subtle body language. Why? Because so many men that I work with, I see again and again, they get stuck in their head. We have more of this analytic brain, right? The engineering. So we kind of think about like, how is our performance? Is she liking it? Am I doing it right? And how can I make us to get off? And so men tend to get stuck in their heads, and what that does is that we're not present enough in ourselves with her, and for the act itself, we just focus on performance and thinking about how things are going instead of really being there. And what happens then is that you're not able to read her, okay? You're not able to kind of sense the non-verbal communication that's going on a more subtler level. This is going on underneath. You can sense this by the way her body is moving, by kind of the way she's looking at you or not looking at you. So if you're in your head, you're not going to be able to do that. So what I invite you to do is to drop from your head into the body and to really start to pay attention to her. Not only your own pleasure during lovemaking, but also her. Like penetrate her, but also penetrate her heart, her body, what's going on. So when you do this, you're gonna be more aware of when her body is contracting and closing down, and when it is opening up, blossoming to you. Okay, so when it's contracting, you know that's a subtle communication that you should not continue doing that and switch to something else. And when it's opening up and she's inviting you in her surrender and embrace and nurturing and giving you the pleasure of witnessing her pleasure, then you should do more of that. So the number one thing is to be in tune with her subtle communication of her body. And please remember, there is no techniques here. There's not a step-by-step process that I can give you that your analytical mind really wants, because this is an art. This is when sex becomes mediocre to becoming spiritual, from mediocre to spiritual. Right? So you have to develop that art, develop that capacity, that skill to be able to listen to her by being so present. You penetrate her, but also her heart, her soul even, right? So that's when you can start to play her like a guitar, like an instrument, right? So that's the place you want to get to by practicing again and again, being embodied and letting her just dance in that place of how you play music and you're just flowing in the chords, right? You don't have to think about how you put your hands, you're just flowing, and that's how you want to see this as well, as an art, not as a technique or a skill that you have to master. Alright, so the second thing women really want is for you to hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss a single video, because let's face it, we all struggle with our love life and relationship at some point in our lives. Do you know anyone that didn't? So you will need all the information that you can get so you can fix a failing relationship or to attract a meaningful relationship. So hit that subscribe button, and you definitely owe me that if this made you laugh or even a small smile on your face. Seriously though, the second thing to turn women on is to create safety for her by being present in your own body. All right, we mentioned that in step 1, but it's really important to be embodied and present in your own body, right? So how do you do that? How do you really do that? Well, start with the 5 senses. Right? We have to start with the 5 senses. What can you feel? What can you touch? What can you smell? What do you see? What do you hear? All of those things. And then also the 6th sense, which is the spiritual, right? To feel into her. So it all starts there. Don't go up to the head. That's the opposite. 5 senses. Be in those senses, right? Not to be absorbed by your pleasure, because pleasure can take over and you single-pointedly focus only on the pleasure, and you finish too early even, right? But be in the body, and there is no failure here. It's only feedback, right? So you learn as you go. You try this, you try that, you take a left, you take a right, and you see what works. And if it didn't work with her, with you, you adjust, you course correct. So remember, there is no failure. There's only learning here, and then you apply what you learn and you become better and better, develop your embodiment and develop more and more safety for her. So here is a few things that you should pay attention to develop this intuition of where she at, how safe is she feeling with you right now, maybe in the bedroom or foreplay or at the dinner table, the date, whatever it is. So one thing is she biting her lip? This will indicate something. Is she playing with her hair, right? Is she kind of closing off? So she kind of like, you turn her body slightly sideways towards you, or, crossing her hands, or, have a bit of a collapsed body posture. All these things will indicate different things. You need to be aware of these things so you know like where she's at. Maybe she's holding her breath, and that will indicate, for example, that she is uncomfortable or shy in that moment. So the way you can create safety for her is to be very sensitive of her reactions. Maybe even develop such a sensitivity that you are aware of what she's feeling and what's happening inside of her before she even are aware of that herself. When you get to that level of mastery, then you really create such an amazing, powerful, safe space with her that she will feel like, wow, this is an extraordinary man, an extraordinary experience, and she will remember that forever. And more so, what that does is that it really makes her trust you, that you're not going to cross her boundaries. You course correct, you understand her, what's going on there. So she feels even more safe. Okay, my boundaries not being crossed. And that will create a desire in her. She will want you even more. She will urge to be with you again and longer, and really surrender her full feminine pleasure to you and give you that nurturing feminine energy, right? And that you will love that. So getting to this place of mastery might seem difficult, but it's so worth it. All right, that was 2, and here's one more. This is bonus just for you. What women really want is for you to only focus on your own pleasure. Even better if you close your eyes and jackhammer her like they do in porn, and when you're done, just roll over and fall asleep, and do it as quickly as possible so she doesn't have time to give you any feedback. This is what men learn in modern porn. And porn is the God-sent Bible for men to learn how to please a woman. In there, you learn how to treat her like a goddess. Alright, there we go. You have 2 really amazing good recommendations and 1 not so good, so don't practice the bonus option, but do the other 2 until you master it, become a master in this art. Remember, it's not a skill. And to summarize, notice her non-verbal communications to you by really being embodied and present. But also notice your own body and what kind of non-verbal signals you're sending to her. If you come in there by having a performance anxiety or trying to get her off or show her your skills, or you're very shy, like, she will feel those subconsciously, maybe not even talking about it, but she will feel that. So create that safety for her to really fully let go and being her feminine, because that's the place she will experience most bliss and give you that radiance that you really want. And lastly, adapt to her nonverbal communication. Do more of what opens her and do less of what closes her, and just learn from that, and don't take it as a mistake or a failure. It's a learning experience. If you're struggling in your marriage or your relationship right now, or you're single and lonely and you haven't been able to attract a partner, a woman, for a really long time, then go to my website. The link is in the description, and watch my free training on how to master this in only 5 steps, and I will see you in the next video.
The Tantric Man Experience. Unleash your masculine power, passion, and purpose.